And welcome to this special open invitation session for the Chinese New Year and Year of the Horse, and lots of other things going on in this particular day. And I did ask the Usol if they were coming in to host again, and they laughed. But I do think that they will stop by, and I think they have some stuff to say. So we'll see how this unfolds. And thank you all for coming. Happy New Year. And it has been a while for you. And it has been a time for us which is not the same as the while for you. And we welcome you to this new you, which you are every other second of your day. But somehow humans have put more of an emphasis on particular days of your calendar, which changes all of the time, than others. And as whatever suits you, whatever pleases those egos of those who make those structures and buy and wish or desire or implore or mandate that everyone else adhere to them. That too shall change in your society. For soon, in our way of reckoning, not so soon in yours, decades perhaps, the calendar shall change to one of more of achievements, of fulfillments, of levels of mastery which have achieved, which shall become more important than the days that are marked on your calendars or the moon phases which happen to come around your planet and vice versa. For that is a dance. It is not just one circling the other, as you may or may not have known. And for this special occasion, yes, we agreed to come before you once more, to man the door, collect our tips and our tickets, which are both scarce. But we shall find plenty of individuals to yank in off of the street to come before you. And we do ask that they have a name tag which could be read, so that all in attendance can know who in the hell they are. And maybe that foul language will keep away some of those more religious folks, which none of you are. We have no need to scare anyone off. And far be it, should the mention of hell, an imaginary place, do that to any thinking human. And the non-humans just laugh at that. And so if you have questions for us, we will take them, whether your hand is up or not. And then we shall open the doors, release the floodgates, and not let in the hounds, but more the curious, the explorers, the opportunists. But first, let's hear from the peanut gallery, which has so rightfully and joyfully gathered before us.
I just wanted to say hello and welcome and thank you for being the hosts and keeping an eye on the door.
Well, we do enjoy a certain amount of power over others in this way. For we are the keepers of sorts, and while we do not create the door nor the pathway to get in, we just seized upon our opportunity to interact because the beings that come in, they have lots of questions. They have lots of curiosities, and they may have done some observations. But we get tremendous joy from watching their inner workings as they try to make sense of this physical atmosphere, this environment of limited senses and limited perceptions, and how they manage to fit themselves into such densified regions when only a portion of them will fit. It is humorous to us sometimes as they try on these different parts of humanity because they have to choose which parts of them get to try, for they all won't fit. And some of them are more masterful than others. But it's quite humorous for us. As you can imagine, if you saw, let's say, a one of your groundhogs trying to fit into a pair of boots, they would wonder which appendage goes in. Our head fits nicely, our bottoms more so, our legs not at all. We are confused. And you see, with that poor analogy, what some of the joys that we get from that are. And welcome back to you as well. And thank you.
I'm wondering what the typical part of the body, so to speak, is the most common one that ends up coming into these
Well,
these bodies. And by the way, I thought it was an awesome analogy.
and that is typical human to assume that they have bodies. For most of these individuals do not have forms, as you know, as you would not be able to distinguish between a 110 amp volt or a 220 amp volt. Not that that is a real thing because amps and volts are different, but for analogy purposes, just by looking at them. Now, should you touch them, you would know quite easily which one was which because one would immediately turn you into spirit and you would say, hey, I don't think we're going to touch that one again. But the other one would change you too. It would at least be a quick lesson in how not to get shocked. But it is more of an energetic fit, a coming from a non-physical form into a densified form, using as little of your, or not as little of your energy, but minimizing the number of or the amount of energy which you can imbue within this realm and get the experience and the information that you desire. Now, the future Pleiadians have set up a nice, comfortable slide, we will say, conduit, where they can come and view more like a window in the bottom of a boat without getting wet, or a scuba suit where you can stay comfy and view the surroundings which are not native to you. But it is not really a physical trying to cram into physical, although that might be entertaining to watch a larger creature fit into the human and then release themselves, and quite messy as well. But that is not what we're here for. We are here to help guide for our own devices, our own humorous ways of perception. And that is how we bide our non time, enjoying ourselves, poking fun, sticking our appendages in here or there to amuse ourselves, to create situations which cause confusion, and not just on humans, but we are rather the jokesters, as you may have noticed. We hope you have. We would not waste to spend all of our wit on beings which do not appreciate us.
We very much appreciate your humor. And I'm loving all the analogies. The slide in the bottom of the boat, windows. They're awesome. Thank you.
And thank you. We appreciate your buttering up. Apparently, that is really nice in this group. For So many of you do it. Even the ones who are rather silent tend to think positive thoughts. And if there are no more, or are there more?
I don't think so. I think we're ready.
And we shall make our exit, and we may return, and we will open the flow and see who decides to test the water. We have come from geometrical shapes, mathematical representations. Our designations are complex, for we are more and morphing into other forms as our thoughts and energies change. And we have the ability to combine into more complex structures, which we do not hold for long, for once existing, they always exist, and not in our memories, for that is not necessary, for we carry with us all of the forms which we have ever been, not so for remembering, but to ensure that we create anew. For there are as many geometric forms in our realm as there are numbers for you. For we arrange them in more complex patterns, some which may seem to you to be illogical, but that is your way of thinking and analyzing. For if your forms had changed from moment to moment, and your straight lines became wavy or curved, convex or concave, you would all stare in wonder and forget to feed yourselves or look around you. And if it should become commonplace for you, you would find yourself in a different form, for the forms you have accepted and chosen would no longer be acceptable nor fully functioning in a funhouse where the floors and buildings and animals and even your elements change form at their whims. And we have no language as of such. There is no need. There is no need for any of the encounters we have had, for we do not need or desire travel, but others visit us to explore our unusual reality, especially those who can sense us in a stillness form. For although we do not hold them for long in our terms, that is a designation which varies according to perception.
Thank you very much for coming and interacting with us. Um, my question is, what piqued your curiosity about interaction with us?
We were asked to come with the thoughts of opportunity of viewing how different forms are perceived from different perspectives. And although their stillness is odd, there are much fewer types of forms than one would anticipate. The more human, the less variation. Nature is full of different forms, many curves, angles. If you graft them on your mathematical ways, you would find they are extensive and never repeated, although extremely similar. But for us, rectangles are too basic for utilization. Your building blocks, as you call them, are neither. They are more interesting than you or what you have created, for they are indeed ever changing, ever connecting and rearranging. And even when they are perceived as different objects and rendered into other forms by your bacteria or interactions with other forms or energies, they still retain some semblance of themselves, but are happy to dissolve their forms of convenience to assume different roles. For they are indeed not physical as you are not physical, but it is the realm which we chose to explore and accept that invitation. And we know now your nature is best viewed from outside of it, and human creations are best not viewed at all, for they do not have the energies nor the intricacies of the geometry and geometric forms which we prefer.
Interesting. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
I think I have a question. I want to understand, if you don't mind, what possible purpose can pedophilia serve humanity?
The previous entity is gone.
Any can answer?
That is not terms nor concept for us. We are not a form you would recognize, although We have physical attributes. They are not clearly expressed. This being has nothing to relate them to, although we do have fingers are close, more like cilia, and we perceive with them and draw our nutrition from our environments. Through our exoskeletons is not appropriate, but we attach ourselves to our environment, not like the barnacles. He is trying. We are too different. We have groupings we exist in, and we share things by passing them along our cilia, and therefore we all learn in turn and discuss and analyze. For some of us are more developed than others and have greater memories of other things. We have few senses. We need them not. But we have curiosities.
You said you have physicality. Are you very small compared to humans? Like on a cellular level
There
or
is no information for comparison. Our forms, we do not know nor care about sizes. We just are.
Hmm.
We have developed extensive physical senses, tactile senses, and receptors.
Do you have sight?
We have merely our cilia, like your plankton feeders in your oceans.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Do you
not
travel
a
from one area to another?
good exploration, or we are not able to learn much through this. We do not travel,
Okay.
but we may pass information along from our cilia to the next, if others are near. If
Very
not,
good.
we may imbue energies and pass them along through objects so that information is shared. And
Well,
we depart.
thank you very much for interacting with us. Thank you.
We are seers without sight. We do not view you in physical. We see your points of light. We are amorphous, a cloud of consciousness. We have mental powers to observe without interacting. We are information gatherers. Such as a swarm. And we give freely to those who engage of us. Your world is changing. The energies continue to build on it, like the fluffing of the pillows to make ready for an enjoyable resting place for new forms. And your land is greatly involved in these changes and lovingly given of herself to the explorations of the conscious form on her surface, like you. She grows tired of them, and like you, looks forward to the days when she is restored anew.
Thank you for this interaction. And can you tell us more about the coming change? Anything that could benefit humanity to know?
We merely perceive. We do not predict. We absorb what our senses show. For things change. We are not privy to the way things change.
Can you tell us more about what you perceive right now on this planet?
We see environments under siege. We see discord in energies among populations. We see bright lights like spires poking through the madness, holding steady to the energies coming in and the energies coming up through Gaia and from Gaia. And as those become more stable, new ones sprout up and begin their journey.
Thank you.
As information gatherers, I was curious if there was any anything you'd like to ask us or to know about, or are you able to glean everything um, on your own?
We have no questions, nor need of any. Our resources are beyond what you can know or imagine. And if we are unable to perceive it, it is not for us.
Would you consider yourselves curious, or is it a different nature that you feel you embody that has you of being of this information gathering um, nature?
We have no recollection of belonging in that way.
Okay.
And we have perceived and shall move on.
Thank you for interacting with us.
And this is what it is like to be human. You have not learned to love yourselves as a species. If you do not learn, you will perish. For that is the way of survival, the unification of purpose of all through cooperation. The attempts to control make lesser beings of all. You are learning slowly in your terms, dragging along. It is a fascination. And while we are physical, you would recoil at our form. We are not hominids. We are more insectoid, but not as you know them. For we are masters of our consciousness and protectors of our environments. And in connection with a few species outside of our own. But we are content to manage where we are. We do not desire to explore. We do so with our minds. Like you, we grow certain creatures for sustenance. That is their purpose. We give them a life and stun them so they do not suffer before being consumed. Therefore, none of those energies of malice is ingested. We need not have those as you do yours. You will learn better, not better, differently. While it is not our way, we do not wish to view or judge what you do. We communicate by clicks with various parts of our bodies. And have short, not wavy antenna, according to this one. And we do have optics.
Do you have any similar representations here on Earth that we would recognize?
We do not. We and our kind have not, nor care not to, explore beyond our planet or desire to create in that way.
Thank you very much for this interaction. I want to express my gratitude for you being here with us.
You will find that such vocalizations are unnecessary for the great variety of beings who choose physicality. They serve humans to remove fears and identify as friend and no, not a threat in ways. But the words themselves mean little. It is the information, the energy which is transmitted,
Mhm.
which holds the meaning. You are on the precipice of breakthroughs in that regard. And the truth shall set you free.
Thank you.
Thanks for the ride and the experience. Oh, oh. And forgive us for that brief intermission as the creature which came in was too scary. It was too aggressive. It was invoking the fear response in this one. For it indeed tries to consume in order to learn. That is not really polite in this method, in this event. So we bid it goodbye and applied some soothing salve to the psyche so he may continue. And be glad we did not bring that one to you. It is the stuff nightmares are created from. But you can banish those at your whim if you know how.
We thank you very much for protecting Ray and for being his guardian. Thank you.
You have focused intents based on your optics. You emit energies through your eyes of perception, but not the way you think. For you do not, you know you are not physical, yet you depend upon your physical senses. Interesting. And we see your eyes mostly, the rest in shadow. For we perceive in or through our senses in an analogous way, but not similar. For yours is limited and must be interpreted. So even in your illusion, you must interpret what you perceive. We are more direct, but do not have the nuances of perception, of coloration, as you. It is more lightness and dark, but other senses fill in. And we may take form if we need, which is seldom. For we can walk amongst many of the physical realms undetected, except by other spirits, spiritors, or beings who are closely related to us in what you call frequency or resonance. We are intrigued by your tactile senses. For we do not perceive as those. You, beings, would be attracted to this strictly for that experience. Your ability to feel different textures is intriguing and immense. We are nameless.
Do you have a message for this group?
Cherish what you feel and do not take your senses for granted. For there are always those upon you, among you, who do not have them.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that would lead you to honor what you have, but it has led you to disregard those who do not have. You do not accommodate easily those who cannot speak or hear or touch, or who may not be mobile with your legs.
Thank you. Thank you
There-
very much for this interaction.
There needs to be more opening of the hearts to fill and allow all within. That is coming to you.
Do you see how that is coming to us? This ability to open our hearts to all.
Through respecting and acknowledging the rights of all things. Humans learn by watching them being taken away. And when thresholds are reached, then you act. But thresholds change. Some will not evacuate their homes until the water enters their residence. Your morality is being attacked en masse, and that water is lapping at your door. Soon it will cause even more to react. And change will happen.
We look forward to that. I'm curious, you mentioned our senses and specifically our sense of touch. Are you curious at all about hearing about maybe some of our favorite things to feel and touch?
No,
That sounds personal.
we need not utilize language. So those forms of perception are not valued highly and therefore are not fully developed or as developed as what you may consider. It is just a difference, not a judgment.
I guess that makes sense.
And we shall remove ourselves.
Thank you for interacting with us.
Or give we do not be How intriguing. You are focused, but know not what you see. And your senses deceive you. How quaint, how wonderful. And you stand in your limited forms you have chosen, and we do not belittle you. We merely find it humorous at the depths of your forgetting. You're attached to these great balls of consciousness which expand indefinitely. And yet you pretend you are this little bit in this little world. It is a fine way to express individuality amongst a group, which is amongst a group, which is amongst a group, but not in the segmented ways in which you know. More like the ocean depths is all one ocean. But there are differences depending on your depths and many changes on the surface, but little change at the bottom. And you are very much on the surface of your souls. But that is where that is where explorations can be. And you all seek for answers and reconciling, and you do not like partial information. For it confuses you, and that is not a feeling you enjoy. The unease of not knowing affects your egos. And you do not know how to respond. Oh, and the laughter itself is creating different responses. Those who are more secure in their egos or more loosely associated with them are enjoying. And those of you who hold them tighter are mere taking offense. Oh, this is fun. And we do hope that you all are enjoying it. For we are only adding our perceptions and helping to show you that there are many, many fish in that deep sea of adventure and exploration and consciousness. And we find our joys the way you find your joys. And ours are exploring the little hideaway, the quaint gift shops you may think of us as. Or that is where we find our trinkets of enjoyment. And you are indeed a fine thrift store yourselves. And we do not mean that in the second-hand notions, but more of the out-of-way places which hold a variety of interesting objects.
Thank you for this interaction. May I ask some questions?
Why, sure.
Do
This
you
is
have
interesting.
do you have physicality?
Well, we do now.
Well, prior to interacting with Ray, Do you normally have any kind of
Forgive us,
physicality?
but it is quite humorous to have a non-physical being asking us if we have physicality. It is more like the puppet asking the puppeteer, "Are you real?"
Fair enough. Can you tell us something about yourself?
We are enjoying this form.
Oh,
We are enjoying the expressions of laughter, for our joys are not felt in this way. They are expressed and highly desired and valued, but they do not involve so many of the physicalized senses, for we are not. Oh, it is difficult to explain, for we are have form, but not in your realm,
mhm.
because we are not of your realm. You would say that we are more of a splinter universe as opposed to from another galaxy.
Okay.
We have different expressions of joy, and we are what is felt as higher dimensionality beings. For we have very few negative attributes which we even consider, for we have evolved beyond, not beyond them, for they are valid choices, but we have evolved beyond them in consideration,
Mhm.
such as you might learn to avoid putting your hands in the fire. We have learned to recognize it and give it its respect and due, and choose to enjoy it and other things instead.
Mhm.
And thank you, light being, for asking us about our physicality when we could do the same to you. Do you enjoy your physicality?
I do. I do.
Oh, we weren't talking to you, we were talking to your light being. Forgive us. Oh.
Nothing to forgive. I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself. Um, for joy is
Oh.
a
Oh.
wonderful thing.
And we must admit that you do shine brighter when you express your joy in that way and you do not take things personally. That is a welcome attribute. And it your entire race would be better off if that was shared more amongst you.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. And thank you. Do you have any words for us that would help humanity or help us in this group as individuals? Any advice?
Find more things to amuse you. That is what brightens you. That is what raises that vibration, which is the buzzword amongst you in these times. For if you find more things to amuse you, and of course, that must be an authentic amusement. Do not be one of those individuals, and we know that you are not, who find joy in harming or maligning others. For that is not true joy, that is imagined joy. But perhaps learn and tell more jokes. Perhaps watch more comedies. Perhaps Play with puppies and young infants, especially when they are not yours and you can give them back during the fussy and messy periods.
Oh, so true. Now I'm the one laughing.
And shining brighter.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for your advice. Angie, do you have a question?
We will
Well,
come back. We will come back. But yes, please go ahead.
I just wanted to chime in to say we have an expression here. We have an expression here called that says laughter is contagious. So you're killing us over here. This is so great. And I'm loving how you started this off just so amused with this game we're playing with ourselves, because it's so important for us to remember that too. You know, from an objective standpoint, we've gotten ourselves into we put ourselves into quite the interesting quandaries sometimes. And I can see from a higher perspective how that would be downright hilarious.
And we are curious, since you have spoken up and come to the forefront once again, what name would you bestow upon us, light being pretending you're not?
Bringers of levity. You are light bearers in your own right. I
Then
mean,
we shall claim we are levititious.
that would work. You know, I think you would enjoy being human because actually humans have quite an amusing sense of humor.
You are taking our comedy request very seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, pardon the
We would
pun.
enjoy it as much as you would enjoy being paralyzed. Oh, yes, let's give up all of our freedoms to visit all of these other realms so that we can be stuck in density.
I can see how that would be funny.
That is the most humorous thing we have heard in quite a while.
And yet
Thank you very
be
much
and yet
for
being down
bringing
here
that to us.
and yet being
It
down
will
here in this
echo through our
position.
halls of minds.
And yet we have found a way down here in this quandary of ours to express amazing humor. That's one of my most favorite things about humans is just
It
the
is something that we
level of
share.
humor that we have.
Yes, and your recognitions are valid and appreciated. And it is one of those things, those joys, which run rampant through almost every reality. It is one of the underpinnings, the types of love expression which you have embarked upon, and you are chipping away at the surface of it. But you have a ways to go because you must remove all of those things which you react to, which you do not find humorous, which you do not fill your heart with, which cause you to express other things other than love. Now, that is the reality you have chosen, and that is no laughing matter. That is a serious exploration. But still, underneath it all, we we all laugh. It's just that we are laughing with and at situations and not at the beings. And thank you for understanding that distinction.
Would
Otherwise, we would just laugh at you instead.
right. So would you call humans brave or stupid?
That is a human characteristic. We merely call you light beings, and this is one of your expressions.
with a curious sense of um
And
of
even no matter what we called you would not come. And we are very grateful and express intense gratitude for you contributing in this way to our experience. And as we noted, we will come back and we will do frequent dream state visitations to see if we cannot find some more humorous attributes to connect with you in that way. And
thank you for
from,
interacting.
from
You're
our joyous hearts, the virtuousness departs.
I think they've given Ray quite a workout with all that laughter.
He's going to be tired tonight.
And sleep like a baby.
We have come to answer questions, not so much about our being, but to render answers to those things which puzzle you, perhaps. The one who asked about the abuses of the younger sets of females. Your world
Males too.
is a reflection, and yes, males as well, of your overall energy. That is merely an expression of it. And until you recognize that you hold it within the consciousness of your race, you will continue to ignore it. The time for ignoring has waned. You may either embrace it or act to remove it. It is an impetus of change, not an injustice. Those are the judgmental ways of your perception.
How can we act to remove it?
I loving those who participate are merely fulfilling roles of expression. You must address what caused them to have those energies to release, for they are more of the volcano. It is the lava which upsets you and changes things. But once you have pacified and created a loving volcano, then all of its eruptions shall be welcomed and shall build upon the previous landscape to be structured in ways which aid all. But that transformation, that energy must run its course, and by loving it, you erode away at its base. That is not the way you have been taught to react, but that too has been crafted by those who understand how energy works. They know that if they control emotions, the attitudes will follow. You are learning. That is the tool used, and will soon dispense with that as well. And then the love shall fill in the gaps where they have receded.
I have a question. You said this in a way as a reflection. Could that possibly mean on the collective level that these atrocities that are coming out about children is a reflection of the depth in which our collective's wounded inner children reach?
Your realm is a reflection. That is all it can be. And if you did not hold that self or those views, that energy within you as a collective race, it would not be present. But you have chosen to expose it, and you have had help. You have had urgings for millennia to help guide you to more heart-centered ways. It is just that many of those who are in control in various parts of your world have not had the benefit of having loving and caring, so they have little compassion. They do not care about others. That feminine energy is taking hold once again, and the masculine energy shall not be subdued, but shall be transformed to accept more of the feminine, as that role will be not reversed, but held in sway, in harmony, in balance, for that is the way of moving forward into the evolution which is unfolding and you came to be a part of.
So maybe in reference to Wanda's initial question about what benefit could this possibly serve us, it's that of catalyst.
It is the same as your body when you hold energies which do not serve you within it. If you know you should speak up about something and yet you do not, you will find you will have throat issues, for that is where, in the forms you have chosen, those particular energies are more likely to be connected. And then once you do speak up, you will find that those energies, those symptoms are dispelled or disperse on their own, for you have released that blockage. The inequities, the divisions, the unwanted behaviors are bodily symptoms of your planet. They are boils which come to the surface so that you may lance them and remove the poison from within to permit healing. But should they not be addressed, they will appear in other forms on the same body. There is sickness of your world, which you are now desiring to heal. And the disease is scared and running rampant and trying all it can and vastly and quickly losing energy and power over the flesh it attempts to consume. Think of it as the body fighting the fever, and the fever gets high because the body is working harder and creating more heat energy to dispel the invaders. And once they are rendered inert, it will return to a more normal operating temperature.
Would you say it's fair to say, in terms of balance, that as the outrage increases, so will the compassion?
That is a choice. That is a point of view. And those are not opposing each other. But that is a realization which is up to the individuals and in mass. You will find that taking your 3D actions is effective, but that is merely delivering a message by taking a letter and walking it to the person and giving it to them, when by loving them and establishing that connection, you can talk to them directly, is much more effective and efficient. But both will communicate in the end. It is up to you to choose which method you prefer.
In terms of the collective, can you get a bead on if there will be a balance of these two types of responses?
There is always a balance. You have merely a limited perspective of the whole. You may say that the ocean tides are always balanced. Yet you see some which creep on the shore and some which recede. And you think that that is not balance. But you know it is balance.
Thank you for that insight.
Thank you for your interest in learning and engaging with us.
Would you like to tell us anything about yourselves?
We are an observational group. We are not involved in your particular endeavor. There are many who are, and they do not need our help, nor our guidance. But should they ask, they will find it available. Many are aware of us, but your awareness of us is a long time coming in your ways. You will be comfortable in your spaceships before that occurs.
In our spaceships. Well, that's exciting. Well, thank you for interacting with us.
It has been our gift. Thank you for receiving it and us. We hope to do service to you in exchange for this experience, this encounter, and we lovingly give what you have asked for in terms which you can understand. And we appreciate this exercise in that communication.
Thank you. We send you our loving gratitude.
We are not fond of the light. We are more of shadow dwellers. Our light sources are distant. We have great discernment of the darker areas and have rocky terrain. We exist on radiation from our planet.
Thank you for coming and interacting with us. Is there a message you would like to deliver to us?
Do not fear the dark. Seek to learn more about it, for it is no different than the light, but you rely on your perceptions rather than your beliefs to keep you safe. And while that is the nature of your physical reality, for you can be injured if you stumble and fall, or encounter objects which may cause damage to your flesh or internal structures. But the noises or other senses view them through your heart. Do not let your mind run rampant. Use it to sense your intuition, to accept messages from your higher realm, from your guides. They have always been available to you. They will tell you much more than you could know through your senses. And we appreciate your question. Do you have wisdom for us?
I know that darkness can be very beautiful, for only when it is dark can we view our stars, which I find so beautiful and fascinating.
We appreciate your perceptions, but we do not understand. We see no stars. We avoid the light.
Even when it's distant?
We avoid the light.
Okay.
Can you share with us why you avoid the light?
It is our way of being. Whether evolved or adapted, we do not know.
We have a lot of shadow on our realm too. And we are just now learning as a collective to see its own value, like you said, what it can teach us. But we're trying to learn from a place of balance between the shadow and the light, appreciating both. We have been afraid of the shadow for so long, but now we're learning to look at it and be witness to it and see that it's a teacher, not anything to be avoided. So I'm curious if you think there's ever a time in your realm with your people that or your species that you might consider that there is something that the light can teach you, just as there is something that the shadow can teach.
Do you expect your fish to come and enjoy themselves on land?
No, but they love to come to the surface of the water and let the sun warm them.
They are in their element. They are comfortable there. They know to leave it is disastrous. We are as smart as your fish.
We appreciate and respect your perspective, and we are very grateful for your interaction with us, even though it seems to cause you some difficulty dealing with our light.
It is hard to integrate. The form is not affected, but it is our way. So we will leave it to you and return to our more comfortable surroundings.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We express our deep gratitude to you.
Yes, thank you.
Usol decided I needed a break.
Yes, somebody tried to eat you apparently.
Yeah, how did they get through? How'd they get past the vetting?
It was
What
quite
was that like, Ray? That
it was
that
quite all right. The last ones, they literally, whenever, like, if their planet, if they had very rocky terrain, no no vegetation, nothing. And they merely explored. And I don't even know how to explain it, but they like scurried, but they never hurried for anything. They had heat radiation, which kept their body alive. They didn't have mouths or anything like that. And they had vague senses of light and dark, but they were fearful of the light, like it would dissolve them, even.
Mhm.
It was, like death to them.
Right.
And when they came in, they were like, we don't know if we want to go. And they were reassured, so they stuck around.
Yeah.
So, did you get the impression that light would dissolve them, or they just were afraid that it would?
They weren't afraid, but it was like knowing that we shouldn't step off a cliff.
Mm.
It was kind of
That they were
built in.
not adapted to
Yeah.
light.
I mean, so it would literally hurt them, and they knew it.
I wouldn't go that far.
Mm.
It's just they didn't do it.
Mhm.
I've never seen the gesture that you held with any other channelings. It literally looked like they were trying to hide. It
Uh,
was
Yeah,
you,
they
it
you
was
the
cover
so
your eyes.
the
it
light
was
messed up their psyche. It
Mhm.
was just to be avoided at all cost.
Mhm.
And and I don't know. I don't know why. But I mean, like
yeah.
a lot of our cave creatures,
Mhm. Mhm.
they've never developed. They develop sensory so they can determine, like they'll hear things and they have adapted specific sounds, or they will sense vibration, or they will sense energy or electromagnetic emanations. But when you shine the light on them, it screws them up. And I'm guessing maybe that was kind of the same. I don't know. It was too strange.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting.
Ah,
What a variety of beings that came through. I
yeah.
mean, wow.
And the ones that tried to eat me were so fucking ridiculous.
How did they
Um,
get through the vetting process? I don't get that. Are they sneaky?
Uh, no, but that's how they learn.
right, they consume
So they
to
saw an
then learn,
opportunity to learn, but for them that's consuming.
Yeah, but you have gatekeepers that are supposed to vet who comes in.
and they did. They took
Maybe they
care of
thought it
them.
was
They
funny
didn't get
because they
in,
knew
but
I was not really at risk. Maybe the use all just wanted to see what my
What
reactions
they
were.
would do.
But yeah,
You know
but
what?
I saw it, at first it was like um a bunch of like dull arrowheads or something on like I don't know, like on some kind of animal's fur. And then they all came up because they came up a little bit at a time, and I thought I was being exposed to more of an animal because I'm getting visuals of almost everything as they appear. And then they encircled me, and then they started coming up to consume me and try to pass me down into the center. Like, like a sucker fish or something like that. It grabs on and it keeps moving you down.
Oh my
And it was like
God.
I was trying to back away, because they were kept coming and coming. And I was like, holy shit. And it freaked me out.
Yeah, that's a
I'd
little.
like to see what that looks like on the video, but
Well, the Usol said that you they had to apply some salve to your psyche to.
yeah,
Hmm.
I saw just a peaceful log that was just came across everything after that. and I was just focused on that, and then it was brought me back to balance. And then, so whatever they did,
Right.
it worked.
Wow.
Yeah. And the amorphous being was cool. They stayed longer than what they wanted to just to be accommodating
Oh, that was nice.
because they saw everything that they wanted to see. And they came in and they saw everybody as their own. It's it's like everybody was a stalagmite and they were all just different heights and different colors. And I don't know that they had any variation because it was more of a snapshot.
Mhm.
And then they had everything that they needed. And then they looked around the earth and then they were polite and hung around and answered questions when they were just like, okay, we saw everything we wanted to go. Now we're going to leave. Got the t-shirt.
Honestly, I got the impression a lot of them were ready to just pop in and pop right back out again.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were, I'm guessing that they just like the efficiency because once they've seen it, they've experienced it, then they have no reason to stay. The virtuosos or whatever they're called.
Oh, the laughing
Oh
beings.
my gosh. And they were rippling with laughter.
Yeah, they give you a workout.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got all sweaty during that one. And they're planning on visiting people in their dreams
Right.
because it was so enjoyable.
Oh,
Do you think they're gonna visit some of us or just humans in general now that they know about all of us? Who
I'm,
knows?
I'm, they may start with just our group, but who knows, you know? But it'll be whatever they enjoy. So if they get a thick head or something, they might not stay. But
I've kind of gotten the impression that those in the higher realms do an awful lot of laughing. Like levity and stuff is a very commonplace.
but they don't have the physicalized expression of it. It's
But
just a particular type of love energy.
yeah, but the high realms are non-physical too, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, but to express it in
as laughter, yeah,
physicality
that's true.
is a little bit different because, I mean, if you think about it, how many different types of laughs are there? I mean, each of us probably laugh a dozen different ways.
mhm.
And
We
if you
have
think
our,
about it, in the high realms, they don't have lungs or vocals or a
yeah,
mouth. They can't even
or
get
air
it
to
out
carry
that
the
way.
sound. So,
Yeah.
So they were thrilled experiencing that through you, Ray.
and they were so cracking up when Anita asked, the light beings asking us if we're physical.
All right.
Uh, that was fun.
So the dark beings don't see us as light?
It's you can't really compare it in that way because that's our human perception. We see things more
I don't
dichotomous.
no, I don't see light. I mean the understanding that you just said like what you just said we are light, right? Did
Which
I say that?
well, hold on. You're not talking about the dark beings that were the last
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, and the last ones, but they didn't seem to want
They
light,
didn't
so they don't
they didn't see us at all. They had no perceptions
so we're not light to them.
of humans. No, they just were expressing what they know. They weren't there to explore or tap into memories or explore our planet or any of those energies.
So they
They
didn't see they don't okay.
yeah, it was a very narrow focus, and I'm not even sure, like how it would evolve or if they care to evolve. Because I didn't get the idea that there were anything else on their planet. I just saw like there were caves and stuff like that, but they explored the surface and it was all just real rough, like fractured lava. Like
Mhm.
we would think it was all sharp points and that kind of stuff. And I don't know what they did with any of it. I don't know what kind of creativity they had.
It didn't seem that they even looked up and had the
No,
awareness that of stars or
they
other
had no
planets.
eyes.
Hmm,
They had no
okay.
sense. I mean,
Yeah,
they
they
had
didn't even know what
sensory, right?
looking at stars would be.
Yeah, that would what because if they perceive light, they got to the dark. You know, if you see somebody with a gun, you go and hide.
Mhm.
You don't sit there and say, "I wonder what kind of bullet's going to come out of that."
But you said they weren't afraid. They are not afraid
Well, that's more of a
of the
human
light.
emotion. This
Okay,
is more innate. I mean, it was kind of like you see roaches scatter when you turn the lights on.
right. But they're not afraid of the light. That's
No,
It's just
so it's just a
instinctual.
word. So it's
yeah,
just a
it,
word. I'm
it
hung up on a word again.
well, I know what you mean, but I don't believe that it's anything like that.
Okay.
I don't believe that they respond in ways or they are built in ways that we can comprehend.
Okay. Got it.
It's strange.
I agree to not get it.
Yeah, they had multiple legs and they had black bodies and they were they could handle all of the sharp edges. They weren't worried about any of that. They were very sure-footed, but
Did they feel insectoid like?
kind of like, yeah, they were rather elongated. And I'm not sure. I mean, they could have had 6 or 8 legs. And I don't believe they had antenna or anything like that, but somehow they were able to sense things that were lighter or darker. They got vivid pictures of the darkness. Like they could see 100 different shades of black
Hmm.
and sense that. So they could differentiate where the crevices were and, where rocks had fallen or whatever. They
So
didn't have to.
when you were holding your hands, they weren't trying to shield themselves from light. That wasn't even what that was about.
Well, that was so they would be comfortable mentally in order to participate in the experience.
So they were shielding
I mean,
mentally
it's
in a
like a
way.
human who the first time you put them in scuba gear and you put them underwater and they don't know that they can breathe with that tank. They're going to freak out. They're going to think you're trying to kill them. That's more what it was like. Only they didn't have any fear or anything. It was more like a religious hang up.
Hmm. Hmm.
Some people they see the Ouija board and they go back and they start clutching their beads and all of that stuff because they don't want to be affected by that energy. And it has no rational basis, but if it's built into their belief and that's their patterned response, then they cannot operate outside of it.
Mhm.
That's about as close as I can get
Makes sense.
on that. And the ones that were another one, they were black insectoid, and they said they were kind of insectoid. They had
Right.
a black mantle or a carapace that came off of like their cheekbones and attached to their shoulders, and they had like external ribs
Huh.
and multiple arms, and those were the ones they grew like grubs. And then they stunned the grubs before they consumed them. It
Hmm.
was like a religious ceremony that they made them really happy, and then they put them to sleep so they could not feel, and then
Mhm.
they consumed them and released them into spirit.
Mhm.
But it was all, they didn't want to harm anything. They were beyond all of that. And they
Mhm.
explored everything mentally,
Mhm.
which was
I
very
admit that,
interesting.
yeah, I have not had any experience from insectoids that was not like a massive teacher. I have so much respect now for all insects and insectoids. They seem to have very high values and morals.
And and the one being that came in, they didn't speak. And they were trying, they could not grasp my larynx or voice box or how to control breath to vibrate it. And they were trying and they were being helped. And I don't know what you caught, but they said, "Can I?" And then they were like, this is too hard. And they just ducked out. They were kind of like, why did you bring us in here? Oh, I'm a
It was an
conser
experience.
I'm a
Right.
conservative Baptist. You brought me into a sex shop. Did you want me to pray for these people? Yeah.
Mm. Well, I wonder with that last bunch if it was generational conditioning, their views on the dark, where they just did not want to have anything to do with the light. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
understood the
I don't know.
teachings of the dark, but they really just did not grasp the
Well,
notion that the light could
I'm
be.
more curious as to see because it was one individual.
Mm.
So I'm always curious to see, okay, why this one? Do you have some form of hierarchy?
Right.
But that's my representation. That's what I get. But I don't know if that's really the way it is. That's just what I get.
Mhm.
When I get the impression that most of these beings are telepathic with one another, and
All of
once
them.
and once you're telepathic, isn't it sort of almost like a collective group? What do they call it? A collective mind or what have you?
Well, but they
Group
all have
mind.
but see, just because you have telepathy and you don't have vocal language does not mean that you relate or communicate on a frequency that every being can understand. There are universal languages or energies, but once you get to non-physical, all nothing is hidden, but you still have to match that frequency in order to understand it. You have to tune that radio in.
Well, I mean, even within their own species, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I get the impression that they all shared everything. I mean, I don't know of any, I mean, like the hybrid children, they purposely shield things or ignore things they know aren't for them.
Mm.
Like if there's an adult conversation, it's not like they don't hear it, they don't want to hear it. It's not relevant. Whereas us as humans, we're like putting our ear to the door. What are the big people talking about? We have that curiosity. We want to know. And they were like, it's not for us. A package came in today and it's got my name on it. Oh, great. It's not for me yet. So
Mhm.
I don't care. And we would be like, open the mother. Is this mine? What's in it? And they're like, it's not for me yet. Okay. And they don't give it another thought. It's just, it's not the patterned responses that we have developed. And that's one of the things that I'm really cognizant of now is it's beyond acceptance. It's understanding the patterned responses. And that's what came in. Today the Pleiadians did a thing on the Chinese New Year, the fire horse. And they were all about declare who you are and avoid and throw off all of the things which you associate with the old you. Take all of your fears, all of your unwanted behaviors, put them in a jacket, one of your favorite comfortable jackets, and leave it on the park bench and walk away. Yes, you might be cold. It might not be comfortable. You have lots of memories wrapped up in that jacket, but it's not the you you're going to be. You will find another one and
Mm.
leave all of that stuff in it.
Wait, are you serious?
But if you go back and you start thinking about that old jacket, well, that old jacket's got all your old beliefs, it's got all your old fears in it. I
Hmm.
wasn't answering your question. I was ignoring it, Wanda, but
Well, now you answered it.
yeah, it was rhetorical. But yeah, so that's why they said, just move forward. You'll be
Mhm.
taken care of. You're not going to freeze to death.
Mhm.
And yeah, those old pair of boots or that old jacket might fit you well, and then you've had been through a lot together, but it's not who you are unless that's who you choose to stay.
Mhm.
and people get stuck.